side.
Okay, good. Too many windows here. All right, so mobile testing. Let's do this. So to preface, DOM to database tests, these are browser. You open the browser, you look at the DOM, what's in the DOM, interacting with the DOM, going through the API, through the service layer, through all of the different things, the database and back. It's all hard. Browsers are hard. Each browser is a little different. It causes all kinds of rendering things in different JavaScript engines, lots of moving parts, synchronization, race conditions, all of that stuff. Mobile tests are even harder. There's no standard. You don't have an HTML standard. Apple and Google both have very weird things they want to do. Different vendors on the Android side between Samsung and the rest have different things they put on top of it. You've got different ways that you're connecting with things. Different screen sizes are a bigger issue. So, the bright idea, what should we test? Hey, since they're hard, let's actually test with what the customers actually use. And this makes a lot of sense. This is what we say for browsers when you take a look at your the actual analytics and see what browser combinations and operating systems are people coming into your site with, and test those. So in mobile, it's just like, yeah, let's do that too. These are all the different phones that like 2 years ago when I took this screenshot. These are all the phones that Sauce Labs had available, and I think this is still just a partial screen. It's impossible to test it all, is the point here. Like, you can't test on absolutely everything. So we need to figure out what is our strategy. And so first part of the strategy, testing pyramid, right? This is the traditional testing pyramid where you have your DOM to database, full stack tests at the top, and then you're supposed to have more integration tests, and then you're supposed to have more unit tests at the bottom. And the idea with the mobile testing pyramid is supposed to be similar to this, of try and use the easy things more and the harder things less to get the same total value, is the underlying idea. And there's three main ways that you can do mobile testing, and two different types of mobile testing. So you've got mobile browsers, right? So even if you don't have your own application, people are accessing your website on a mobile phone. You should be figuring out how to test that. And if you do have a native application, then people have to be accessing it with a phone. So, but you can have both emulated, like virtual phones and real phones. So let's walk through what real devices versus emulators and simulators and mobile emulation looks like. And we're going to start with mobile emulation. So essentially, if you right click on a browser and open up the DevTools window, here in the upper left, you click on that, and it's going to give you a view like this, where it'll show a bunch of different devices that you can emulate the page. It's essentially just doing dynamic rendering. You're essentially emulating what the CSS output will look like with different sizes, but it specifies the device name to get automatically for you what the dimensions are going to look like. So it's an easy way to kind of fake what a browser looks like, or what a mobile device looks like inside a browser. And Chrome driver does this for you. There's a link at the bottom here for the documentation that Chrome puts out, that Google puts out, for how to do this. And they've got it in multiple languages. This is the code for Java. But you're essentially setting up a certain type of mobile emulation. There's a bunch of little settings you can set to adjust things and tweak things, and then pass it into Chrome options. Mobile emulation, though, so it's fast because you're just going through a browser. It's the fastest thing you could do. If you just need to check dynamic sizing and that's all you care about in your mobile application, and you don't have a native app, it's just all in the browser, and you need to be able to check different sizes for the most popular devices that people use with your site, this is the way to go. Super fast. Same thing with the browser. It's as fast as a browser, easy to scale, but and the browsers work on different operating systems between different Chrome, but it's still, this is a Chrome only solution, so you're not getting Safari support with this. and it's not a device. It's not even pretending to be a device. It's just display. So next, emulators and simulators. So Android is an emulator, and iOS is a simulator. You have Android Studio that works in any operating system, and then you have the simulator only works with Xcode, which requires an Mac. So if you're a Windows person, you're not going to be able to use a simulator on your machine, which is why it's helpful to use this with Sauce Labs. So Sauce Labs provides this handy platform configurator, and we're going to use this a lot for most demos because it's very handy what all it provides. And you go to platform-configurator here, and you can specify what platform you want. And we're going to look here in the center here with the iOS simulator, Android emulator. You pick whatever version of that you want. And then here, it's going to show what the capabilities need to look like in order to use that. And so like the important one here, if it's a simulator, is that it's going to say iPhone simulator. That's in the device name. So that's the key piece for it being a simulator here. You can also pick between the browser and the application. So if you do have a native app, if this isn't a browser, what's going to change is you're going to see the browser. This is showing the browser name on here. It should show browser name. So see here, this was showing. So when you've got browser selected, there we go. When browser name is selected, it's Safari. And then when you click on app, it's saying, hey, we don't have the app listed here. You need to upload it. So this is, you click on upload an app and it'll, well, click on upload the app. But let's talk about, like, there's different types of files. Let's do a quick review here. Android, you have either APK or AAB files. For Sauce Labs, you would upload the APK file. And then same thing in iOS. It depends. There's a different file type for whether it's a real device or a simulator. The real device one has to be signed. There's all sorts of things that go into it. So you can't just zip it and send it like you can with a simulator. It has to have additional things in it when it gets created as an IPA file. All right, so you click on that link here to upload an app, and it'll take you here, and this is going to show you the list of the apps. And this is essentially my demo app. There's an iOS version and an Android version. It shows the build number, the identifier, all this fun stuff here. And if you click on these, this is the view you see. You'll see here's the IPA and here's the zip. So it shows both of the two different things, even though it's giving the same build or the same name for the app. And then same thing here in Android. They're both APKs. So these are different versions. See, this was version 2.1 and this is 2.02. So they all show up in your list here, and they all have this file ID. And you take that file ID and you put it here where it says app ID, and that's going to generate what needs to happen there. And so based on that is how you will get the emulator simulator on Sauce Labs to run. There is, let's skip the slide. So then same thing with the platform for real devices. You're going to be looking at these guys here. For the Android, when you click on so you click on app and you click on the app identifier, it'll actually list what apps are available. And so you can click on the one that you're actually looking for, and it's going to populate with the storage file name instead of just the app ID, which is nice. So unlike emulators and simulators, emulators and simulators are good if you need to do something more mobile specific with your browser, right? Like, so if your mobile app has like a lot of swiping, a lot of things that you want to test specific to what a phone is going to do, it's going to make sense to do your browser testing in like an emulator, simulator, or a real device instead of just doing the browser emulation. And it makes the most sense to do that probably in an emulator simulator where you could scale up. You get however many sessions you have available at Sauce Labs with your, virtual device cloud. That's how many emulators or simulators you can run at a time. There's a lot more available for that. But nothing really beats the real device when it comes to what is the user actually using to access your site. And so these are making sure that you've got the native API, the thing that's actually being used by the user. Often it's faster than emulators. It takes a while to spin up it's faster to get a real device than it is to spin up an emulator or simulator on Sauce Labs. And then the actual execution is often faster in a real device than an emulator due to hardware, and obviously simulation takes processing power. So there's a lot of advantages to actually using the real device. All right.